loving those hype videos. They get better every year, I feel. That's great. So yeah, Migs, how you doing? Great to see you.
I'm doing great. I'm amped up. I'm caffeinated, excited, swagged up. Just excited to be here.
Drinking my tea. Yeah, it's what time is it? I think it's like what, 1:30 for you?
1:30 in the afternoon. Yeah.
Perfect.
Just
3:30 a.m. here. So we are global. We are global. All right. So we have a panel today. We just kind of got the panelists ready backstage. But Migs, you're going to be helping out a little bit more this year. I think it's great to see you stepping up. I think you're going to help with some of the sessions this year, right? Do you want to share what you've been up to this since last year? It's really quickly.
Yeah, always trying to follow your lead, Mike. Try to be as helpful as possible. The last year has been exciting. I've been developing a little bit of merch just to get people some gear. But besides that, I've been traveling quite a bit. I went to NamesCon. I met up with some people in person, quite a few as of late, and just trying to get as involved and as personal as possible, helping people make connections in this vast space we got.
I love it. All right, so maybe we bring up our panelists. Sorry, I'm getting a little the rug master. So Anon says, okay, great. We got a great lineup today. Awesome. So I think the first couple sessions at HandyCon, we're all kind of refreshing our skills. Okay, yeah. If everybody could turn on their cams and microphones. Noel, what's up, buddy?
Hey, y'all.
Oh, hey, great.
Hey.
I know it's early for you. Thanks for making it in Taiwan. All right. So the sessions is post the happening, which was the code word. Noel, you made that. Is it you're the creator of the name, right? That's pretty cool. A lot of us like that name. So we're gonna share what's been going on, and let's Migs, you're moderating, right?
I am moderating. So if you have been
now, and let you take it away.
Yeah, if you've been up to date with Handshake lately, then you're definitely aware of the happening. I would say, as it was very well put by Santiago, the best time to get into Handshake was 2020, and the second best time to get into Handshake was just now with the happening. So it's kind of a resurgence. I think it's a fresh perspective for a lot of people, which has been awesome. Definitely appreciate Noel pioneering the name, giving us something to rally around as a community. I think people really ran with it. And that's something that we appreciate. So I'm going to do quick introductions. Enough of me. We have Paul Webb, we have Pei, we have Noel. 3 different time zones, 3 different gigabrains here to shed a little bit of light on this experience, and I'm looking forward to learning just as much as everyone else here. I'll start with Paul. If that's all right.
What am I doing?
Oh, well, I guess actually, I apologize. Let's start with Noel. Noel, if you wanted to give us just a little bit of insight as to what led you to write that article a few months ago to get started with the happening, and what kind of maybe your perspective on now that most of it has happened, how you feel about the whole experience.
Oh boy, well, I feel like I could take up 30 minutes right there, but I'll try to be as concise as possible. Everyone, if you don't know me, I'm the founder of HeyTX, the custodian of .hey and .tx. I do a little bit of biz development and marketing for Handshake over the years, including helping coin the happening, the word. The community had been discussing for several years on the need for like a soft or hard fork for Handshake, seeing that all the names that were reserved on the outset were going to become available on February 3rd, 2024. And we didn't necessarily want the ICANN TLDs like .com and .org to be able to get in our hands. We want to keep them reserved for VeriSign and so on. So as I saw this progress more over the summer, so like June, July 2023 on GitHub, like the developers are being very technical and everybody was leaving their comments. It became pretty obvious to me that the soft fork should have a name. We shouldn't just name it, like soft fork or Handshake's first soft fork. I feel like, we could do better. And so the happening name hit me pretty quickly. I felt like it encompassed what I envisioned, what was possible with this moment for Handshake. And it was a playoff halving, which is what proof of work chains like Bitcoin and Handshake experience every so often, where the mining rewards are reduced. But as far as what I thought about it, I would say that I think it went pretty well. The soft fork commenced without too many hitches. I believe there's like one mining pool that took some time to make some updates. But besides that, the blockchain continued to work as expected. And this was the most activity the chain has ever experienced in the past 4 years in such a short period of time, right? Last month's activity, it was through the through the roof. And I believe around at least 13 million HNS coin was burned, which equated to around $500,000, 15% of the circulating supply. I think that was like 80 something million HNS was locked up in a given period of time. So if you think about it like that, 15% of the circulating supply is actually in use. I would say that's showing that the chain is alive and well, and the community is alive and well.
Yeah, we saw a ton of action going on. We saw price action with the token. We saw action with the names. People were posting all their crazy setups that they were setting up at home in order to keep track of things. I was at dinner with Paul Singh, and I know he was checking out India live while we were in an Indian restaurant. So it was a big event for the community. Did you pick up any? I think you picked up a name. Noel, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, my main goal was just to raise awareness and attract newcomers. So I was sending out emails and publishing articles, just trying to raise awareness. I had a pre-happening social in Fort Worth, Texas, with some of the Dallas-Fort Worth community. But I did bid on some names, and of course, I lost quite a few auctions. Hopefully Pei and Paul had a little bit more success than me. But I think the Vickery auction really reminded me of my time bidding in 2020. I'd say the Vickery auctions work beautifully because it makes you intentional with the names that you desire the most. So like Wells, Wells cannot win them all. They can win some of them or a lot of what they want, but they can't win every single name because you have to lock up your coin for what feels like forever, right? And those that want the name the most often is the one who ends up with the name. That's my personal belief. So I did win .Texas. I was pretty pleased about that. And many of these names were premium that we're going after. But not only that, I feel like there's an extra responsibility with them. I don't know if y'all like winning any names this past month. It's not just a nice premium name, but I feel like there's something extra to it. And I would say while the Web 2 component, who that name was reserved for, paved the way up till now, I would say it's up to us to realize the full potential of these decentralized TLDs.
Definitely, I would say that it was heavier this time around. I had a lot of reminders of the first couple months in Handshake, but you could sense that it was heavier. The stakes were higher. The competition was fiercer. We had Shake Station enter the rotation as a way to get names. So, all right. With that, Paul, do you want to tell us a little bit about your experience with the happening, either what you observed or how you participated in general? I know you're very active with UNET.
Yeah, I was not active with the happening at all because my bags are not that big. I spent a lot of the HNS I had from a grant on getting other names before the happening because I figured most people would want to stack up their HNS so they would be willing to let go of names for a lot less so they can bid on new names. So that was my strategy because I've seen some big sales. India sold for the equivalent of like almost $68,000, which is amazing. So I wouldn't be able to compete with that. I chose to spend this time just heads down working on Beachfront, trying to get that out the door. But it was pretty cool to see that a 4-year-old protocol is still commanding this much attention, this much focus, real world money going into staking your place into like the internet of tomorrow. That's pretty damn good.
Agreed. Not just the 4 years of the protocol, but I think we saw a lot of recycling. I think we saw a lot of people coming back asking about renewals and custody and what am I going to do with my tokens and my names? Do I still have them? What's going on? So we saw a resurgence. I saw some faces come back, which I think was great. One face that has never left us throughout this entire process would be Pei. Pei, what was your experience with the happening? What did you observe? What did you do? What can you tell us?
For people who don't know me, my name is Pei. I'm from Taiwan and currently living in Japan. I'm an investor, so I love Bitcoin and also other similar protocol. My favorite is Handshake, obviously, because it's so unique other than Bitcoin, like this proof of work chain. So I think happening. Also, my domain brand. I have a domain brand .domain, and I'm going to do more marketing on it because we know. I think it's also because after this happening event, I think. To me, it's clear that the advantage of Handshake is proof of work and also DNS utility. But proof of work is about how secure this blockchain, but people don't really care about that. I think it's really important, but for now, I don't think people will value that much. So I think the biggest differentiator of Handshake should be DNS utility. So I have to see, like we are going to see DNS login and DNS as wallet address. I think that is only Handshake can do this. So this happening event, I leverage my my token. So I got some good names for community use. I buy names of other blockchains. So I think it is very important to help those other blockchain can anchor on Handshake. And also in the past 2 years, I bought a lot of Taiwanese company and also Japanese blockchains names to give them. But in my but I found that if I just give that to them, they don't find how to use it. So it goes back to what is the utility. So I'm really looking forward to what Paul is doing, his website, and also other stuff. So after that, I'll make my gift more valuable, right? I have all the names to give to the company I know, brand here in Taiwan and Japan. So I'm waiting for that moment too, that I'm saying. So one thing happening is good is I got the biggest exchange name in Taiwan because it was reserved. Where I can get it. I got all other smaller exchange names already, but I need the biggest one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Going back to what Noel said, it's a responsibility sometimes to get some of these names. So I think you're a great custodian for helping them reach their owners, and the happening was a good opportunity to get some. Also, what Paul said, I think I noticed that too, is that there was so much going on with the auctions that maybe the secondary market was being slept on, and it was an opportunity to check some stuff out there, and maybe for some people to get rid of some names they didn't want and recycle into new ones. And I think that with renewals coming up, that's a theme we're going to see. The happening was kind of a preview to that. We're going to have to start making trade-offs as owners of these names. Do we really want to hold them? Do we want to let them, go back to the protocol, which I think is important to note, right? When your name expires, which isn't what happened here. But what will be happening, it'll be going back for auctions, and these auctions will get heated, and they may be in in tight times, because a lot of the initial names were won at similar times. Just a couple quick stats here. There were about 73,092 names that became available at the block height of 210,240, and the happening is still, I kind of made a mistake earlier this week, I think, during a DWeb chat, where I said the happening happened to an extent, but I think there's still some heated auctions going on right now. I'm not sure if all of these were released at the time, but Designs, Signature, Miracles, Consulate, these are going right now. They're getting heated, and so I think that's it's still an exciting time. Again, going back to what Santiago said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would add to that, Migs. Not only are there still some names still available, but to me, the happening not being over, it's more than that. To me, there is no end to the happening, but rather it was a beginning of something new. That's at least how I think of it. So to me, like, this was a spark, and what I see, the flame is still kindling right now. And so I believe that if we take appropriate actions with what Paul is going to be sharing with us later today, what everyone else is going to be sharing, what they've been building silently, recently, months, years. I believe, that this spark that we have in front of us presents us with like a small flame that can turn into a campfire soon, and then perhaps even a wildfire if we continue to all do what we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely agreed. There was also a lot of names that could go any direction. I think two character were very popular. Those were a big opportunity, and they don't really have a home, right? Their initials. It could be anything. So I'm excited to see the projects that this is going to sprout into, kind of like Alex said there in the chat. Fantastic. Does anyone know who .India is? Has that information been made public, or we're just all admiring the number? I guess that's kind of part of the fun, right?
Probably one of these anonymous people in the chat.
Yeah, they're hanging out amongst us.
I think
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll find out in due time, right? When the time's right, we'll find out.
Agreed.
Some anonymous person just smiled in the chat. See?
Love it.
Part of what makes it so fun. All right, fantastic. Well, I don't have all of the up-to-date stats, but I do. We do have them. We have them listed. I'm trying to find the link. I'll try to share it with us before the end of it. But with that said, we also saw a lot of the names are important. The names are crucial, but so is the token. I mean, all of these bids, they had to go somewhere. These tokens had to go somewhere. And for those that don't know, the winning bid does get burned, right? Causing deflationary pressure on the Handshake token. We saw a little bit of that. I think it's kind of reverted back to where it was before. But that's going to continue to happen, of those 2 billion plus original tokens, as we see them continue to get burned. That's going to have price impact and decision-making impact on how people behave in the space, both in terms of custodying names and bidding on future names. Somebody had mentioned, I think, the other kind of, when it comes to the token, it's hard to get a hold of for some folks. And we saw people get really creative when it comes to bids, using blinds strategically, things like that. It doesn't have to be super specific to the happening, but with all the action that we saw, were there any strategies that stood out to us that we think, from this experience that may kind of change the future of bidding and auctions on Handshake? Anybody have thoughts?
I was looking at some auctions that I participated in, like back in 2020. I looked at Beachfront, and I bid like 6 or 7 times, like several hundred H&S, because someone kept bidding higher than me. And so then I was like, oh no, now I gotta put 500 in, now I gotta put 900 in. And then I looked at an auction I did later in the year, and I bid like one true bid, and I won that one too. And so I think it's just that experience. There are going to be people who participated in the happening for the first time. They're like, I don't know what a victory is, and and most likely losing on auctions that they had enough HNS for, but they were just doing things in a way that they don't understand. So when in the future there's other auctions for more interesting names or like more valuable names, I think we will see more veterans chime in to try and snatch up these names. Whereas there will always be new people, and then they're just going, "Oh man, my blind was like 80,000, but my actual was 2. This guy only did 5."
You kind of get what you deserve at that point, right?
Yeah. So maybe there will be blog posts where people go through like, hey, here's what not to do. Here's how to use the system. But yeah, that's my takeaway.
You can't reveal all your secrets, right? No, there's so many different strategies. And in fact, even during the happening, I feel like I deployed a few different ones. Really depends on how much do you want that name? And then also understand like what do you value that name? Like what is that value to you? So like going into the auction, usually I have, my predetermined prices, but then also I kind of see how the auction unfolds. And I know that Pay won quite a few incredible names, especially of other blockchain namespaces. I'd love for you to be able to share more on that, Pay. But as far as myself, like those premium names that I had to get, like I try to give it my all, obviously within reason, right? With .Texas, everybody in the world, well, at least in the Handshake community, knew that I was going to be bidding on that. So I wanted to obscure it a little bit in case somebody wanted to try to undercut me or whatnot. But there's another name where I wanted, I'll go ahead and give it to you. I wanted .hi, HI for years. And I like reached out to the actual domain owners trying to acquire the traditional ICANN domain for a few years, like negotiating with them. And I just wasn't able to get that deal done. But guess what? I had what I valued that name to be worth going into it. And guess what? Somebody ended up bidding higher than me. And that's awesome. That means they have some really great plans for the domain. And they're really excited to own it as well. So yeah, a lot of great bidding, a very exciting time. And as Eskimo mentioned in the chat, we have 4 1L TLDs coming available here this week, which is like incredible opportunity. At the happening just last month, there were 0 1L TLDs. So here later this week, you can actually own a single letter. You know how many letters are in the English alphabet? 26. So you have a chance to own a decent chunk of that, or at least try to get one.
Yeah, and I want to add something. I have observation this time. I found average the name, the bidding price is lower than average. If this good quality name released in like before, it should be a bit higher. But in all these names in one event, it makes like everyone the focus is limited. So we like myself, I've only focused those bigger names I don't want to lose. So I found all the smaller names is the price way lower than I expected. So the strategy should in this situation, your strategy should be different, because before that I had my own strategy. Like if I want to bid on smaller names, I want to keep that like under the radar, like smaller price but not too low, something like that. And for super premium names, it's usually like the final moment sniping things, right? So it's a different strategy. But this time I found the best strategy should be would be like you put medium amount on many names, and you can get many of those super cheap. Because many of this is too cheap, in my opinion. This time.
Well, that's the thing, because we had so many names unlock at once, right? Then it kind of spreads everyone's attention out. So then you're able to get incredible deals. Yeah, that's a great point. I feel like a lot of us were lucky in that regard.
just to add to the tail end of that, not just the names, but also the platforms, right? Were you on Namebase? Were you on ShakeStation? Were you doing it from your Bob wallet? Were your funds where you needed them to be at the time that you needed them to be? So I really think that we saw the magic of the Vickery auction play out here. And I think that that's going to be interesting. I see a world where people can become specialized bidders, right? And help people obtain their names, right? So we got a couple minutes here. I'm going to do free for all, or if somebody wants to throw questions in the chat, we do have a QA feature in the chat. That would be the best way to do it. What kind of stage is open? Anything that anyone would like to ask, or anything that any of you three would like to add?
Who owns .India? That's what I want to know. Who is this person?
We just got started, Paul. It's just the beginning of HandyCon 4. We got a lot going on. So let's see. For the record, not that anyone asked, I wasn't really participating on the happening in the bidding. So there was no new emojis coming out. So what was I going to do? Now, all jokes aside, it was. But I was still having a great time as a spectator. Other big names to keep in mind that came out. We had NY, we had Go, we had BTC, Bitcoin itself, Alpha, Lottery, Mail. So these are huge. I'm sure that people have plans for these names. .web as well. How much is it worth for you to know? I guess maybe Paul, you got your own little Vickery auction there. And then I guess those. So in terms of, does anyone have thoughts on trademark names? Do we see? I guess it's kind of a weird one to open up at the end, but any trademark names that we saw move? Anything or anything exciting happening with big names that maybe we heard about or getting into the right hands? Not too much.
Yeesh, trademarks. Like if anyone spent a lot on one, good luck. That's all I gotta say.
I'm gonna listen to Tom Barrett and just stay away from trademarks.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully they'll find themselves in the right hands. It would have been nice for there to be a community effort where we collect those trademark names and perhaps have them on a ShakeStation or Namebase for those company representatives to reach out. I had that idea, but overall, hopefully they ended up in those with good intentions, and hopefully they'll end up in the right place.
Is other blockchain names count as trademark names? I don't know.
No,
but I help secure some
competitive
blockchain names.
That's a great question you posed right there, Pei, is what do people consider to be trademarked or not actually trademarked? In which country is it trademarked? All these questions become something, but I think
it's difficult if it's short, right? 3 letters, and it's like it can be anything. So I felt it's like it's for different country, different people, they view it different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Definitely. And in terms of getting things in the right hands, I don't know, one idea that came out earlier from the DWeb chat was maybe like being able to use these platforms like ShakeStation and Namebase to publish names that are kind of like available. Like you can't just offer me, but if you message me, we can do something to bridge this and get things together. Mm-hmm. We also have Who Is and Handshake now, thanks to Stronix. So a lot of exciting stuff. I don't want to go long. I want to thank everybody so much for the time, both in the chat and both here. It's a pleasure to hang out and chat with you guys. I look forward to a lot more HandyCon. Going to keep getting caffeinated.
Yeah. Woo.
Thanks, y'all. I'll just say that I published a new article today called "The Harvest is Near," available on HTX's Substack. Just posted it on X as well, but it's just a message for all of us. And the main part is spring is before us, and now is the time to take action. So really excited for HandyCon this week and what we're going to all accomplish together.
Awesome. Thank you so much, all of you. I'll be sure to repost it.